Okay, so I'm going to kick this video off with a bit of an unpopular opinion, and that is that I don't want All Might to be in the game at the very start of Global. Maybe a couple weeks to a month in, bring him in. Same with all the later releases from the CN version. The reason being, we are going to go through his skills and PvP in this video, but I just want to explain myself first, because the reason is that for newer players, if you come in and your first interaction in the game, before you're used to combat, before you're used to swapping characters, knowing when to swap, just having the fundamentals of especially PvP down pat, if you enter the game and your first ever PvP match when you're trying to learn just the fundamentals is against an All Might, you're going to be like, this game's broken, and you're just going to put it down. The fundamentals of PvP take a little bit to learn from playing, and I think the original meta from the CN version, which was the only S heroes were Tokoyami, Momo, Bakugo, and Todoroki, it's a really nice meta to actually learn the game because no heroes are just like completely overwhelming. So things like All Might are just really overwhelming to fight against. His basic attack has such a long lunge range, and it has like just effects that fill up the screen. He's got two other gap closing abilities. He's got whirlwinds that cover the screen. He's just very overwhelming to fight, and that's pretty much the reason I hope he just holds out a little bit on the global launch, not there in the first banner, because I'm worried that it would turn a lot of people away from PvP, which in this game is actually really competitive and really fun. But when you're not used to PvP and the basic mechanics of swapping characters, when to dodge, what to look out for, and you just walk in against an All Might, he's just going to basically spam basic attacks and kill you, is pretty much what can happen. So an inexperienced player can just jump in against you when you're an inexperienced player as well. They can just spam basic attacks and you just get overwhelmed. So when we look at his skills and PvP, I'll try and demonstrate it a little bit more on why that is. But overall, I think he's not broken once you get used to playing the PvP. He's got some solid counters. Kirishima is a great counter to this guy as well. But I just think at Global, he's sort of too much of a broken play style to be introduced directly at Global, because I think he will deter a lot of players. But let's get into some skills. Okay, so here we are, the big man himself. Let's go through his basic attack first, because his basic attack's got a bit to it. It does 3 hits basically, and you can choose what the third hits. So if we go, the way you operate it is you go tap, 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 and then down the bottom, you'll see these different abilities light up, and you tap it on which one you want to get. If you don't tap on any of them, he'll do an uppercut. So we go tap, 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 and then you wait, and if you don't tap any, he does that. If we do tap, 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 and then tap straight away, he does the cross. If we do tap, 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 and then wait for the whirly one, he does a whirlwind. And then the final one, if we do tap, 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 and then wait for the third one, he brings a rock up and then smashes it. So that's his basic attack. Now, for PvP, I normally see people just spamming the cross one, but sometimes you do see the whirlwind one because it is very frustrating to fight against the whirlwind. So a lot of people are doing these ones. They do that and then just get the whirlwind out. And if you go for the rock smash one in PvP, they come out of their little stun before it's available. So I don't like going anything past the whirlwind personally, but especially in PvP, a lot of people are normally spamming. So it's like, it just comes out as just being the cross, and that's what people do. And you just re-engage and cross again. So that's his abilities. Then we look at his Q ability. Actually, we'll just charge his Q ability up. And every time you go to the third attack, so you do the cross, the whirlwind, the rock smash, or the uppercut, it gives you a stack of this, I don't know, I think it's Detroit Smash, but you can see here we've got 7 on it. 7 right there, you can see the 7. When you get to 7, that is maximum stacks, and it gives like a little animation. It's almost like a mini ultimate. When you get it to 7 stacks, and you can see it does a massive whirlwind. If we do it at 0 stacks, you can see it does the whirlwind as well, but it's not as impactful. Basically, just the more stacks, the better. Now, his quirk ability, one for all, is going to sort of just increase those stacks. So if we proc his quirk ability, and then we do 1, 2, 3, you'll see instead of getting 1 stack, we actually got 2 stacks. So it just generates that faster. Then we look at his W ability. His W ability is range dependent. So this is a perfect range to use it. He's going to jump up and smash the ground, which is nice. Now, if you're standing right next to the enemy, you'll jump up and you'll miss them. So just be careful of that. Then we have his E ability. Now his E ability is kind of like Deku's Q, where he engages, he teleports, but the thing about this one, I think it's better than Deku's because he actually smashes the ground behind. So even if they're a little bit out, he's going to hit them. So it's not too bad. So, and the other thing is he's invulnerable while he's charging it. So watch this. He goes that little invulnerable, so you can use it as like a sort of a dodge as well. The other thing is, if we use his basic ability, when he's flashing and he's got that yellow glow to him, he's actually invulnerable there too. It's not through it the whole time, so there are little windows where you can actually... I'll try and demonstrate it. So basically at the impact point, he's not invulnerable. So when he's like lunging forward and attacking with his basic, he's got the invulnerability, but that 1 second there in between strikes is when you can actually engage on him. And this is what makes him really frustrating in PvP and why I don't want him to be in the game at the start. Because if you just jump into a PvP game, all the opening characters from CN, which is basically the only S's that were available then, Momo, who else? Bakugo, Todoroki, and who am I missing? Tokoyami. Those four. None of them are like that impactful, but like this guy, like his basic has such a range and it just like floods the field when you're getting attacked by this and someone's just doing this stuff, and especially if they're just like popping whirlwinds and then doing this stuff, it's just overwhelming gameplay. And this guy has such great engaging, and basically what you see happening in PvP is people will spam this combo, basically like that one, do it twice, and then they'll have an immune state. And basically you just wait for the yellow to come off, and then you do this, you're invulnerable, you engage again, and then you go like that. And it's literally, you just run into this. And like I said, it's even hard to swap to like a Deku and engage on him, because when he's using his basic attack, he does have that little bit of invulnerability during the attacks. And also this one, he's got invulnerabilities. He's just an absolute beast, basically. So then we do have his ultimate. Looks pretty savage too. If you're getting hit by this, you're pretty much done, but you get another massive, a lot of tornadoes coming out there. But that's the basic way he works. The most common way I see him played in PvP, like I said, is to do two rounds of this, and then just go again. Sometimes people will do the whirlwind on the second one, and then they run away, and then you basically just re-engage with that, and go again. Pretty much it, and it's a really... The thing about All Might is, he's like... To be great with any character, it takes skill, but for low skill, he can be very, very strong and frustrating. So let's jump over to some PvP. Okay, here we go. Let's get into some PvP. I did actually try playing a couple games, or one game, and then my mouse stopped working with the keybinds. I've really got to replace this $130 mouse. Ain't working too well. But yeah, we'll jump into this one, and I just basically want to show how his abilities look in PvP, and they just like screen... takeover. Like the thing about All Might, I don't think he's completely broken. I think things like Aizawa is much more broken. But the thing is, to play him to a point that's annoying is not very hard. So you can do just stuff like this with him. And my keybinds aren't working already. Rip the dream. But like you can see how everything just feels like it takes up the whole screen. And for a new player, this is absolutely overwhelming. And then you can just run away and then wait for the yellow to come off, and then you can just do the engage again. And then if you miss, it doesn't matter because you can just engage like this. Like he's just... Oh man, my keybinds have stopped working again. Rip the dream. But yeah, he's just a little bit overwhelming, I feel like, for new players. And so as you can see, his abilities just... They swarm the screen. Like that's literally it. And his basic attack has such a lunge range on it. It's not even funny. And like you just get caught in these cycles, and it's just not very fun for new players. But like I said, he does have some solid counters eventually. But when you can do this and like get like mini ults that deal like truckloads of damage, and you can do all these weird fun things, it's just like, because this is a real player, you can see him swapping characters and stuff like that. But like I like, because my keybinds aren't working, I'm just spamming basics and having no dramas with it. I was hoping my E would be off cooldown by the time he re-engaged, but that was my bad. But as you can see, we can engage quite easily here, and like those basic attacks have such a range, and it's so easy for him to engage. As I'm struggling to engage, but once you connect, it's just like good luck, have fun, and then we can keep smacking. then he gets immune for a second, then we teleport to engage again, and it's just like, it's just a big rinse and repeat slugfest of just big things happening on the screen all the time. I think he's quit playing now. Because, like, oh, there he goes. He came back into the game for a little bit. Instant transmission to him, boom. There we go, smack him again. And like I said, I'm not even great at All Might. I was just spamming basic attacks and my keybinds were gone, so I was clicking with the mouse on his basic attack. And like, he was swapping characters and stuff, which is like, you know, decent play. Not saying he was the greatest, but like, All Might is just overwhelming. I can't be bothered trying to play again because, like I said, I gotta go. I'm literally gonna walk out the door now and return this mouse and get a new one because my keybinds stopped working. Wait, do any of them work? No, none of them are working. Rip the dream. Oh, that one's working. See, it comes back. You can see that clicking in the corner there. Oh, okay, some of them are back. And it's gone. There we go. This one's gone. Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, I'm just rambling on. I'm really sad about my mouse that I bought. It's the Razer Naga, the new Razer Naga. Very disappointed. Anyway, that is All Might. That is why I don't want him to be in the game at the global launch. Personally, for me, because I'm used to playing against him, for me it would be cool. Like, I got no issues. But for the majority of global players, I just think give everyone a little moment breather to learn the game first. I'd even like them to put in a PvP mode because they don't mind entering different modes. Like even change this training mode, which is the blue one, to be only able to use beginner characters. So like the ones that were available at CN launch, being Todoroki, Bakugo, Momo, and Tokoyami as the S's, and then all those A's and B's. That would be really cool for newer players, just to have a safe place where they could go in, not fight against once they come into the game. Endeavor, All Might, Shigaraki, who else have we got? Eraserhead, like all those things. Like, they're just overwhelming to fight against for a new player. But anyway, that is All Might. He's pretty strong. I don't think he's the most broken in the game. He's got his counters, but he's just too overwhelming at the start. Anyway, that is going to be it for this one. Thanks for watching. Hope you have an awesome day, and I look forward to seeing the next one. Cheers.